Have you ever thought about what it means to finish well? Not just to start a project with excitement, but to see it through to the very end with grace and purpose. Hello everyone, my name is Teresa. Welcome to my channel, Faith is Light, where I retell Bible stories and how it relates to us today. Why Jesus shares these stories in the Bible and lessons we can learn from them. Today, we're going to talk about a man who did just that. His name was Joseph. We often hear about his colorful coat, his dreams, and his rise to power in Egypt, but the end of his story is just as powerful, if not more so. Let's travel back in time. Joseph is now an old man, 110 years old, living in Egypt. He's lived a remarkable life. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, wrongly accused and thrown in prison. Yet, through it all, he held onto his faith. God was with him, and he rose to become the second most powerful man in Egypt, saving an entire nation from famine. Now, at the end of his life, he gathers his family, his sons and grandsons. He could have talked about his wealth, his power, his accomplishments, but he doesn't. Instead, he talks about a promise God made to his great-grandfather Abraham, his grandfather Isaac, and his father Jacob in the book of Genesis, chapter 50, verses 24 to 26, we read Joseph's final words. He says to his brothers, "I am about to die, but God will surely come to your aid and take you up out of this land to the land he promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." Think about that for a moment. Joseph lived his entire adult life in Egypt. It was his home. He had an Egyptian wife, and his children were born there. He had every reason to consider himself Egyptian. But in his heart, he knew where he truly belonged. His identity was not in his position or his place of residence, but in God's promise. He was a child of the promise. Then he does something remarkable. He makes his sons swear an oath. He says, "God will surely come to your aid, and then you must carry my bones up from this place." He wanted to be buried in the promised land, Canaan, not in the rich tombs of Egypt. This wasn't just a sentimental request. It was a powerful act of faith. It was his final sermon. With this last command, Joseph was teaching his family and us a profound lesson. He was telling them, don't get too comfortable here. Egypt is good, but it's not your final home. God has something better for you. Don't forget his promise. This message is so relevant for us today. It's easy to get caught up in our modern-day Egypts, our jobs, our possessions, our social status, our daily routines. These things aren't necessarily bad, just as Egypt wasn't all bad for Joseph's family, but they are temporary. Like Joseph, we are called to live with an eternal perspective. The writer of Hebrews reminds us of this in chapter 11. Saying that these heroes of faith admitted that they were foreigners and strangers on earth. They were looking for a country of their own, a heavenly one. Joseph's life shows us that it's possible to be successful in the world, to be a blessing to the society you're in, without losing sight of your ultimate citizenship in heaven. He worked diligently, he governed wisely, he provided for people. But he never let the comforts of Egypt make him forget the promise of Canaan. His final request was a beacon of hope that would shine for hundreds of years. The Israelites remained in Egypt for 4 centuries. Generations came and went. But the memory of Joseph and his bones, waiting to go home, was a constant reminder. It was a physical symbol of God's promise. It kept hope alive in their hearts, even during the dark days of slavery. And when the time came, they remembered. In Exodus chapter 13, verse 19, it says, Moses took the bones of Joseph with him because Joseph had made the sons of Israel swear an oath. Can you imagine? In the chaos of leaving Egypt, In the middle of the 10 plagues and the Passover, Moses made sure to fulfill that promise. Joseph's faith, expressed hundreds of years earlier, was still active, still guiding his people toward their destiny. So, what can we learn from the death of Joseph? First, live with the end in mind. Our time here is short. What legacy of faith are we building? What promises of God are we holding on to? Joseph's focus was not on his past troubles or his present comforts, but on the future God had promised. Second, our true identity is in God, not in our circumstances. Joseph was a slave, a prisoner, and a ruler, but above all, he was a child of God, an heir to the promise, no matter what titles we hold or what situations we find ourselves in. Our most important identity is child of God. Third, we are called to be a source of encouragement for the next generation. Joseph's last words were not of despair, but of confident hope in God's faithfulness. He pointed his family toward God's plan. We too can point others to the hope we have in Jesus, reminding them that this world is not our final home. Finally, Joseph teaches us about forgiveness. At the end of his life, his brothers were still afraid he would retaliate for what they did to him, but Joseph comforted them. He told them in Genesis 50, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." He saw God's hand even in the darkest moments of betrayal. This freedom from bitterness allowed him to finish his life with peace and grace. So, how can we apply this? Maybe you're in a comfortable Egypt right now and things are going well. Joseph's story reminds us to hold things loosely and to invest in eternity. Or maybe you're in a difficult season, feeling trapped and forgotten. Joseph's story is a reminder that God is with you, working out his purpose, even when you can't see it. He hasn't forgotten his promises to you. Let the end of Joseph's life inspire you to live a life of faith, hope, and forgiveness. A life that says, "I trust God's promises, no matter what my current circumstances look like." Let's fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, because what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. Just like Joseph, let's finish well, with our hearts set on our true home. Thank you for spending this time with me. Before I say goodbye, I have a couple of questions for you. Do you feel trapped? Do you feel forgotten? Let me know in the comments below. If this story has encouraged you, feel free to share it with someone who might need to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe for more reflections on faith and life. Until next time, may you walk in the light of His promises.